What's up, guys? It's Monday Night Football After Show on AfterBuzz TV. Today, we got the Ravens against the Patriots. Stay with us.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Tonight, Ravens, Patriots, still going on 23-20 as we speak, but Mikey Rippe right here. Mikey Rippe? I don't think I've ever called you that before.
Oh.
Monday, baby.
I think he'll keep us updated. Will you, Mike? Will you do that for us?
Yeah.
All right. What's up?
Update. Jeff Fisher fired.
That was going to be the news. The news
Oh,
segment.
no. We're bringing it back for news. Don't worry. This is an update.
Yeah, we're going to keep talking about that all night.
All right. Well, I am your host, Josh Rodriguez. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, at Josh_Rodriguez_Jill.
I'm Jill Munroe. You can find me everywhere at Stiletto Jill.
And I'm Michael Rippe. You can find me on her blog with my NFL rankings and on social media at Mike Rips.
Holla. All right, guys.
JacksonStilettoJill.com. That's the
Yeah,
blog.
you're going to find a new #1 team tomorrow, so check it out.
All right, guys, well, let's get into it. The game's still going on. 6.5 minutes left to go. 23-20 Patriots.
That's right.
And in the beginning, didn't look like we were going to have a good game to talk about. They're also going to come back on here and be like, oh, here we go again. Another blowout on Monday Night Football for us to just kind of talk around. But that's not the case. After a 16-3 halftime lead, the Patriots
Choked.
took a 23-3 lead on a Martellus Bennett touchdown. And then just things went haywire. Ravens punt. Patriots punt it back to them, and Ravens punt to the Patriots, and they fumble. Well, hits off the leg of the punt returner, recovered by the Ravens at the 2-yard line. They end up scoring a 3-yard touchdown, and then on the kickoff return, what do you know? Matthew Slater fumble.
Oops.
Recovered by the Ravens, and then a couple plays later, Kenneth Dixon,
Kenneth who?
8-yard
Dixon.
touchdown reception. So, guys, are you? What's your reaction to that?
What's going on with the Patriots?
I don't think that the Patriots are choking. I think they're just making it close. It's okay. New England's going to win.
It's okay.
They're just making it close. I mean, do we think it has anything to do with, I know there's a lot riding on Martellus tonight. He's, recently back from injury.
He's having a good game.
Patriots are down a couple of receivers, so, they have a little bit of injury issues jumping off.
Well, yeah, and they've tried Julian Edelman
Yeah.
back there.
Yeah.
I know he's fumbled before. Amendola didn't have too much success returning.
Update. There's a touchdown. Chris Hogan, 79 yards from Tom Brady. Don't worry, the Patriots. I'm not a Patriots fan. The Patriots are riding. The Patriots are gonna win. I think they showed a stat that they were 90-0 when leading in the fourth quarter at home. So I mean, they're not losing this game.
You think they just got bored?
Yeah, it's not that they get bored. They had some mistakes. They handled that business.
All right, I'm going to read some stats really quick. Joe Flacco, 29-43, 260 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception.
Why don't you read some Tom Brady stats?
I'll get there.
Okay.
Kenneth Dixon, 11 attempts for 39 yards, 6 receptions for 35 yards and a touchdown. I'll give you some Tom Brady stats so far. After that touchdown pass, he's 24 for 37, 398, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. It's
quite a game.
Really bad interception, by the way. At the goal line, you really see this with Tom Brady throwing it off balance into double coverage. Terrible interception.
You know
He's
what?
allowed.
You know what those stats are doing?
What?
Those are vaulting Mr. Brady to the top of the MVP
He's
chase.
not.
Oh, you think so? So
100%.
that's kicking him ahead?
No.
I mean, those.
I
That's,
think the 4-game start the Patriots had hurt him.
Yeah, well, it didn't help him, but I think he's making his way to the top. MVP.
You think so?
Or do combined. Well, these stats are these are great stats, and combined with what the competition is doing, I think he's going to be the favorite moving into next week.
Well, he doesn't really have too many weapons. I mean,
He's
he
doing this
does,
also
but-
after
yeah.
losing Gronkowski, but nonetheless,
I would correct myself. He doesn't have. He has his weapons. He doesn't have his biggest weapon.
he doesn't. But they've also been able to establish a new weapon, Malcolm
Mitchell, who has a touchdown
at
today.
wide receiver. I think he scored
Yeah.
a touchdown in like 4 straight. So
Yeah, he has a touchdown today, and I think he has.
he's 4 for 41.
4 for 41.
So basically, the Belichick way can get it done at any given time with whatever type of personnel,
We've seen
or
that.
is it the Tom Brady way? I mean, I feel like that's sort of my swaying point as far as, is Tom Brady really the MVP of this season? He's Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He gets it done. Like, obviously, he's having a fantastic game. Patriots are up 30 now. But is it really more about Belichick in that system? Because those 4 games, they didn't look great, but
I think it helps a little bit. But Tom Brady is undoubtedly one of the best quarterbacks ever played a game.
right.
I think he's the best, but that's a debate. Fine, fair enough. But
Yeah.
it's a mix. You can say yes,
But
partial
is this an
Belichick, partial.
MVP season, though?
Absolutely.
No,
Based on
it's
that.
not. But
Yes.
I want to stick on the game. In first half, I thought that the Ravens were actually going to give Brady a couple problems, and I didn't think that they would put 30 up on him, to be honest with you. But Brady looks good, man. And like you said, Malcolm Mitchell is coming through. Martellus Bennett's having a good game. Chris Hogan. So, Is it a big deal that Gronk is out? What do you guys think?
It is a big deal.
I mean,
Best tight end in history. You said that on the program last week.
Yeah, I agree.
So when you lose the best tight end, and it doesn't matter. That's a big deal.
So even if you have Martellus Bennett,
It's
as a
great.
replace- yeah.
It's great to have Martellus
do
Bennett.
you think he
as
can be
your-
a substitute and a good enough substitute for them to win the Super Bowl?
Well, I think there's one thing.
Belichick way.
There's one thing. Right. There is one thing that we've learned by New England is that next man up really it works for everything. Obviously, it hurts them to not have Rob Gronkowski, but having Martellus Bennett is a huge factor, and they'll figure it out. I mean, that's one of the great things about New England and Tom Brady is they work with whoever they're given.
Now, are you shocked at the Ravens right now? I mean, I figured their defense would do pretty well against the Patriots. Right now, they've given, 30 points. Brady's carving them apart besides one, interception he had at the end. This shocked me. I picked the Ravens last week. Not because I thought they were a better team. I just thought the Patriots kind of due for a loss and the Ravens is a bad matchup for them. But, I didn't expect them to give up 30 points. Am I the only one that's shocked? Do you think I'm dumb to be shocked?
Well, you're not dumb.
I mean, I think the Ravens are kind of up and down. They're the team that they're always going to be in the hunt. They're always going to be there.
Yeah.
They're kind of their reputation is sort of built on that defensive line.
Yeah.
Things like that. But it kind of is what it is. They're not a team I'm looking at, or have like really high expectations from. I expect them to be in the middle of the pack, not really rise out of that. At least not this season.
What about you, Mike? You think I'm overrating their defense a little bit?
A little bit, but they're playing New England in New England. I think Baltimore is a well-coached team. They don't have a lot of players, and this doesn't surprise me. I think I was the one that picked New England because I don't think you go against New England at home, regardless at any point.
The Ravens do play very well.
They do. It's a great
Foxborough.
matchup for Baltimore. They're the one team that can scare New England for sure, but I'm not surprised by this at all.
Yeah. All right. Well, any updates, guys? What's going on? I know Baltimore probably has the ball now.
We're looking at a 30-20 lead for New England, 3rd and 8 for Baltimore. 6 minutes to go. Put this one in the bag. New England's won.
It's not in the bag yet.
This game is over.
Ravens come down, score a quick touchdown.
Yeah, okay, it's possible. I understand that. There's plenty of time.
Can
but
it happen? Yes.
It's not
the
going
likelihood.
to. This is not going to happen. That stat was 90-0 for New England when they're leading in the fourth. Not leading by a certain amount of points, just leading. They're going to win this game.
Yeah, you're probably right.
It's 90-0. That's a lot of games.
Really? 90-0, really?
They showed the stat.
I missed it.
Yeah, 90-0.
That's a crazy
When leading in the
stat.
fourth at home, New England. They're not going to lose this game. It's over. So let's talk about something else. Like, what do you want to talk about? Jeff Fisher fired?
Yeah.
Peace!
Cowboys lost their first game in 10 games.
Oh,
Guys,
what does
it's
that
it's
sound
the Monday
like?
Night Football after show. We have
yeah.
an
It is, you're right.
obligation.
So let's talk about Baltimore.
Okay.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, what do you
Steve
think?
Smith Sr. still getting it done after all
He's
this time?
not really getting it done anymore.
I mean, from a moral standpoint, maybe for a rallying point of their team, the old man that's still crotchety and,
Yeah.
a little crabby out there, like, let's go.
Well, as of right now, Joe Flacco's 31 for 46, 285, and 2 touchdowns. He doesn't really get talked about when it comes to elite quarterbacks or top-tier quarterbacks in the league. Do you think he's underrated, or do you think, there's a reason why he doesn't get talked about?
I think there's a reason why he doesn't get talked about. He's
What do you wanna talk
middle of
about?
the pack.
What should we talk about?
I mean, he's won a Super Bowl. He's a
He
Super Bowl
has
MVP.
won, he's a Super Bowl winning MVP, but was he really, he was, but I feel like that year, what was that when they won? 2000?
This is 3 years ago, I think.
3 or 4 years ago.
Okay,
He put together the best 4-game span of his career. The Denver safety didn't know how to play safety,
And
he
that was
got lucky, but
that was a money year, right? Like, it happened in a contract year too, right?
Yeah.
He put together amazing 4 games, and so he won the Super Bowl. But should we talk about him? You know his stats this season:
Let's hear it.
15 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 84 rating. I mean,
Average.
It's middle of the pack. He
Again.
he has a game here or there that are great, but even Ray Lewis said, a few weeks ago, he looks like he doesn't even care about football. Now, I'm not saying that matters really, but he's not in your top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Okay.
He's steadying. He's a steadying presence. He's not, going to take you down the wrong way or lead you too far astray, but that's
After
about
tonight,
it.
Baltimore's going to be 7-6. It's about what you think of Joe Flacco. He's a little bit better than average.
Okay. We'll end it there. Keep me updated. I mean, it's 30-20. We're supposed to do the Monday Night Football after
Let's
show, but
keep doing it.
It's hard. It's hard to review a game that isn't over.
Let's talk about New England
Okay.
and why Tom Brady is the MVP.
Why is that? You tell me, because you're the one who thinks he is.
Well, because New England's going to end up with the number 1 seed in the AFC, likely. And since Tom Brady's come back, he's just been dominating. I mean, he's lost They've lost one game with Brady.
Yes.
They dominate. I don't know. I mean, to me, it seems very obvious. The competition that he's facing would be Derek Carr, Matthew Stafford, maybe Matt Ryan.
He fell off a little bit.
Ezekiel Elliott. Well, first off, Matt Ryan.
Dak, Zeke. I think they're going to cancel each other out.
Okay, but we should get to that. And another point, it's Monday Night Football, but Dak Prescott is not the MVP. No, Ezekiel Elliott, maybe. Dak Prescott is not the MVP. But Tom Brady, MVP. And I would just like to know, do you think he can win it do you think he can win it with the 4 games missing, or do you immediately, because he missed 4 games, he can't win it? Is that your take?
Immediately, because he missed 4 games and his team went 3-1, he can't win it.
But who cares about it that his team was 3-1?
It's the word valuable.
If he's the most valuable player to your team, with you missing 4 games, especially at the start of the season, your team shouldn't be able to go 3-1 with not even your second string quarterback. Really, this was like your third string quarterback. So. Yeah, you're valuable. You're important, but most valuable
in the league
this season.
No.
That's hard.
Okay, so here's what I'd like to say. 4 games. It depends the opponents, right? You can't just say, well, they went this and this against 4 games. Once you've played the Browns, the Niners, the Jets, I mean, the opponent matters here. They played the Cardinals. Not a playoff team, actually pretty terrible team.
But we're supposed to be at the top of the season. The Cardinals
supposed to and is are 2 different things.
Yeah, but
Arizona
that was at
bad.
the top of the season.
Houston's bad. I don't care what that they're in the lead in their division, and they beat Miami, the best of those 4 teams. And I mean, that's not like they had these tough games and they won against these tough opponents. So that's my point.
But it's still your third string quarterback.
It wasn't. It was the second string, Jimmy Garoppolo. They played Brissett for
2
one of the games.
For 2 of the games.
Well, they lost one and then they won the other one.
Right. All right, well, the Patriots are actually, the defense is getting up some yardage to the Ravens. Flacco's marching the Ravens down the field at the 22 right now of New England.
Also, before tonight's game, these are Brady's stats. He had 19 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's got 113 QB rating. So,
I'm not saying he's not phenomenal. He's obviously
right. We're not saying Tom Brady sucks.
Right now, we're looking at
He's trash.
22 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's gonna throw for about, he's got another 3 games. He's probably gonna end the season somewhere like 30 touchdowns, maybe 3 interceptions. You can go look at the record books. He is going to have the stats to get it done to win the award. Whether or not you think that because you missed 4 games or not, that's a personal opinion, I think.
If Derek Carr misses 4 games, the Raiders will go 3-1. If Matt Ryan misses 4 games, the Falcons go 3-1. They're more valuable to their team than Tom Brady is. That's the way I look at it.
Is this the LeBron James thing? Is this the LeBron James thing where, in theory, Tom Brady could be the MVP in any season for the most part? No, you don't think?
I think he's also helped. I think the other thing about this is that Tom Brady's helped this year to win the MVP because the other contenders have not distanced themselves. They've shown clunkers. Tom Brady hasn't had a clunker this season, first of all. Derek Carr's had a couple clunkers. Matt Stafford's had a couple clunkers. Matt Ryan's been really good. In fact, if you ask me the truth, I think Matt Ryan's been the second best quarterback. If you're not going to take, I think Tom Brady's MVP, but Matt Ryan, my second MVP right now.
All right, just little updates. 30-23 now. The Ravens have kicked a field goal on 4th and 1 to make it a 7-point game with 2:03 remaining. They have 2 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. So basically, you got to stop them here. Can't let New England get a first down. If they do, game's over. But if they stop them, they have a chance to tie.
Or go for 2 and win.
I would love to see more coaches do that. When Del Rio did that in week 1, I was like, yes, why don't more coaches do that? Especially on the road. Stealing on the road. Why not?
Agreed.
So I'm going to ask you guys for a little prediction of this game. What's going to happen?
The Patriots are going to stop them.
I've already predicted 3 minutes ago.
All right.
I predicted last week New England's going to win. New England's going to win.
I have to stick to my guns because I called the Ravens last week. I think I have to say pretty much they're going to stop them here and then get the ball back and score a touchdown.
And then win in overtime? This is big.
Now, I don't really believe it.
That's a lot of magic happening on the field.
I don't really believe it. In the chat room, do we have anyone in the chat room? If you guys are in the chat room, let us know what's going on with that game because we would like.
Yeah.
Also in tonight's game, I don't know if you noticed, LeGarrette Blount, he tied the Patriots rushing record for touchdowns
He's
in
had
the
a really
season.
good
So
year.
he's got 14 rushing touchdowns this season, and he still has 3 games to go.
Yeah.
So he's going to definitely get that record.
He's had 13 attempts for 54 yards and a touchdown today. He's had a really good year, better year than I thought he would. Because with Belichick in the backfield, you never know who he's going to use, how he's going to use them.
Well, that's true, and it's been interesting to see that.
Their run game hasn't even really been a focal point.
LeGarrette he's been a running back that Belichick has leaned on. over the past 2 or 3 seasons, which is interesting after he kind of was in a lot of trouble, Garrett Blount, and now he's been the focal point of that run game. They don't switch him out. They usually would run 3 different guys, and now Blunt's really got a stronghold on the running attack.
All right. Well, I guess we've talked about it enough from what we can tell.
It's Monday night. Let's keep it going.
The game has to finish for us to even talk about the game. So let's talk about Week 14 and the games that we saw and the games that are completed already. You guys did the 21-13 victory of the Kansas City Chiefs over the Oakland Raiders on Thursday, so we won't get into that. But
womp womp.
just want to say Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City, baby.
Chiefs are for real.
Just saying.
Mike's been on. Haven't you both been on the Chiefs kind of all season early?
Josh went out and threw out the Super Bowl pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did. I
like
did.
it.
Steelers 27-20 against the Buffalo Bills. I guess the big story there is Le'Veon Bell with almost 300 yards
Crazy.
rushing and receiving, which is insane, and 3 touchdowns.
And then Rex Ryan being asked afterwards if he heard about the rumors that he's going to be fired soon.
What did he say to that in here?
He said he hadn't heard anything like that and that he was being really honest and, he hadn't heard anything about that, so.
And then the two of you and your love of Tyrod Taylor, him being benched.
Ooh,
I love Tyrod.
Not me. I think Tyrod is slightly overpaid. He's solid, but,
He's solid on that bench soon.
Well, maybe the new coach will utilize him differently. I don't know.
Cincinnati 23-10 over the Browns. We don't need to discuss that game. Lions 2017 over the Chicago Bears. Matt Stafford hurt his finger in that. You think that's going to play a role down the stretch, maybe in the playoffs?
Maybe. He's got to wear a glove the rest of the year. Another game.
He hurt it in the first quarter, and he played through it, so.
He did. Another game. He wasn't good this game, but another game where Detroit was trailing in the fourth and came back to win. So they've now won 8 of their 9 victories this season have come where they were trailing in the fourth and ended up winning, which is a new record in the NFL.
Wow.
Ooh.
And they still have 3 more games to add to that. Also, just want to touch on it. Did you see the Chicago quarterback? His name was Matt Barkley. Actually pretty good. His team let him down. His team let him down. They had 2 bad calls at the end. He's been surprisingly good. I told you this. I'm not a huge. He's the best USC quarterback. That's all in the NFL.
All right, we got Tennessee Titans 13, Denver Broncos 10.
My boys, I told you this, guys. Jump on board. I told you Tennessee was going to win one of Denver and Kansas City, and they got Denver because Denver's not that good.
Tennessee won this game with Marcus Mariota completing 6 passes.
Yeah, they got out to the lead and they just held on.
The Broncos got T-bowed. That's crazy.
Broncos have looked trash all season long.
They look trash offensively.
They don't have an offense, and their defensive line is not that good. Their secondary solid and Von Miller solid, but they're just struggling. They can't stop the run like they used to, and that team is not a playoff team. I've been saying that for a while, and I think it's going to come true.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I've been vouching for them all year. And
I mean, you watch Trevor Siemian. He's not an NFL quarterback.
They're going to be. You think he's not even an NFL quarterback?
He maybe is a backup, but he shouldn't be starting, especially for the defending champions if you're trying to defend.
All right, we got the Texans 22, the Colts 17. That surprised me. I thought the Colts would take care of the Texans pretty easily, but
embarrassing. You see, they called a 4th down play a screen.
It's
hit. Embarrassing.
Why do teams do that? Why would you throw behind the line again? It just doesn't make sense to me on a 4th down. Throw past the sticks.
Trying
past
trickery.
The sticks.
I don't.
You have Andrew Luck as your quarterback.
I mean, yeah, so Indianapolis, I think, is out of it. That was a huge loss. to Indianapolis.
That does it. Houston wins. Tennessee wins.
Because Houston has the tiebreaker. They're 4-0 in the division, which is going to set up Week 17 when Houston and Tennessee play. They're going to play for the division. But Houston is terrible. Even if they get into the play, that team is awful. Brock Osweiler is stealing. He is stealing money. They should put Tom Savage in immediately.
I don't know about
and
that.
Also, I do. And also, right. Bill O'Brien, man, he's the worst. What a terrible coach. Also, you notice his butt chin? That's like his chin's like a butt.
Okay.
Check it out. Next time you watch Bill O'Brien, check it out, guys.
Well, some news now. Patriots got a first down.
Oh, so that's the game?
So that's pretty much game. I think Baltimore has one more time. They use their timeout, but they only have one more timeout. They only stop the clock one more time. That looks like
game over.
Looks like it's game over, guys.
Well, so where do you think Baltimore stands now? Because now they're officially behind Pittsburgh in the division. Pittsburgh's a game up on them.
I think Pittsburgh's better than them.
I do too. But so are you going to count Baltimore out, or are you going to put Baltimore?
I mean,
out?
you can't count them out, but I mean, I wouldn't pick them to make the playoffs.
Well, that's what I'm asking because now they're behind Pittsburgh in the division, a game back, even though they had the tiebreaker if they're tied. So now they're back a game of the wild card and of the division. So you are going to say they're going to miss the playoffs.
Yes.
So, by the reasoning that I've heard, you've now told me Denver will miss the playoffs. You're saying Baltimore will miss the playoffs. Who's going to make the playoffs in the 6th seed?
Read the standings to me.
Well, okay, let's keep going with that.
Okay.
We'll get to it.
Redskins 27, Eagles 22.
That was an
Big-
interesting game.
Big stop by the Redskins defense at the end.
Yeah.
I thought Carson Wentz was going to lead his team to a victory there, and then sack, fumble, recovery. Redskins prevail. They're tough, man. The Redskins are a tough team. They
Solid.
really are. A solid team.
If Kirk doesn't throw a pick 6 every game, then they're better. So he did one in this game too, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
We have Carolina Panthers 28, San Diego Chargers 16. Is it worth discussing that game considering these two teams have no chance of going anywhere?
I would simply just say that San Diego lost Melvin Gordon probably for the rest of the season. He had a bad injury, and then also Joey Bosa for defensively. Both of their 2 stars were out after the first quarter.
We got the Minnesota Vikings 25, Jacksonville Jaguars 16. Anything on that game, guys?
I mean, it's the Jaguars, so not much to say, right?
No, in Minnesota, staying alive. Adrian Peterson's looking to return in Week 16, which is 2 more weeks. They're going to be in contention to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they'll have a shot. And a thriller of a game. The New York Jets defeat the San Francisco 49ers 23-17
That was the best game
in
of the week.
overtime.
Matt Forte out right at the start of the game.
Yeah.
Bilal Powell came in.
Great game. Great game. Carlos Hyde had a great game.
He was on my flex on my fantasy team, which didn't get picked up because something happened. Yeah,
You didn't enter the contest, probably.
not me.
Oh, Rippe, what'd you do, Mike?
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because
We're talking about next week right now.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, well, in a pretty surprising event, Packers 38, Seahawks 10. Beat down.
You know, that was very surprising to me for sure. But this was the first game in Russell Wilson's career where his team lost by double digits.
Get out of here.
Really?
I didn't know that. I knew he had 5 interceptions.
Well, that was
Yeah.
also terrible.
He
but
looked crazy. Like, I didn't feel like the Packers defense was that good. I'm just like, what's going on with him today?
Yeah.
But everybody.
so that was a surprise
Any given
for
Sunday.
sure. But doesn't look good for Seattle defensively. But I don't want to overact too much because Green Bay, even though they're coming on, they got a tough road to make the playoffs still. I know all the NFC teams don't want to see them in the playoffs though, because that's a team that you don't want to have to.
I know Giants don't want to see him.
No one does. You don't want Green Bay as the 6th seed
You
or
don't
something
want Green
coming
Bay
in.
to come
Right.
on, but I feel like that's fool's gold this
Yeah,
season.
smoke and mirrors, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Falcons 42, Rams 14. We'll get into Jeff Fisher a little.
Let's get into it.
You want to get into it?
Let's go.
I mean, the first 10 seconds of the game were embarrassing. So
8
Rams.
seconds. It actually was the first 8 seconds.
The game was
8.
over.
Yeah.
Like
8.
right there.
The game was over before it started, but realistically, yeah, it was
8
over right away.
seconds. How does that happen?
You-
1,
go
2, 3,
ahead.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
You have the floor, Joe. You're a Rams
No,
fan.
there's no floor to have. That was embarrassing. It was dumb. It looked foolish. It didn't even look like a professional team at that point. And the fact remains that the Rams look like a crazy organization because you just extended this man 2 weeks ago, even though it was clear then you weren't going anyplace. Like 4-8? Are you serious?
Crazy in love. That's how I'm feeling right now.
And I mean, I'm happy, and they said they're going to cast a wide net. It's not just the head coach, it's, assistants, defensive coordinators, everything, front office search. They need to do something. You can't be in LA with that mediocre product and these subpar excuses, especially with the Chargers looking to make their way down the road because the Chargers are a better team. And I'm sure they're going to make some changes too before they hit LA. So
Yeah.
nobody's going to pay for that product. The excitement is going to be gone and, you'll be sitting there.
I think that today was the biggest day and biggest win of the Rams season, honestly. Many people out, but I've been vouching that they needed to fire Jeff Fisher. It was getting serious. I've been wearing this hat just for that. But in all seriousness, it was embarrassing what happened this weekend in LA. The Atlanta came in, Julio Jones didn't even play. And to put up that big of a stinker just goes to show you that we talked about in past episodes that the Rams players had checked out. They weren't even paying attention. They didn't care. They're just going through the motions. Todd Gurley said that. He said players in the locker room didn't care about the games. He said that they were running. Eric Dickerson said they were running a high school offense. Todd Gurley, who was on the team, actually came out and said middle school.
Yeah.
And it's embarrassing. And so I got to say, good job that whatever they did to extend Jeff Fisher and let him go this long, thank God they finally realized that they had to make a change, and they are making a change because it could have been a lot worse. And now they need to make the right hire.
And he's still going to get his coins. So the name that's been floating is a Harbaugh.
That's right. Jim Harbaugh, They should pay him anything that he wants. That would be the right hire.
You don't think so?
He's the right hire if they can. But there's other people too. If he says no, wants to stay at Michigan, that's fine. They should try to get Jim Harbaugh, give him $15 million a year. Whatever, it's not our money. Nonetheless, really good job by the Rams to recognize the mistake. The only thing that's disappointing is Jeff Fisher tied the record for the most losses in history. They couldn't give him one more loss before sending him on his way. Couldn't wait till Thursday night after the game, like middle of the game at halftime, and fired him. That would have made Rams fans even happier.
I mean, they have a decent defense behind Errol Donaldson. I think that it's in LA. It's a new
The
thing.
defense is good. The defensive line's good.
I think that it's an attractive job. So it's not. They have some pieces that just Do we expect, even with the right coach next year, playoffs?
No.
They need
mindset,
playmakers on offense.
Yeah.
They have the running back, but they need some playmakers on offense. Not the wide receiver position. Is Goff the real deal?
No.
So I mean,
no, he's not. He's not the real deal. But this is why I said no to playoffs next year, because if Jared Goff's the quarterback, you can't expect to make the playoffs. Now, if they went out and got someone like Tony Romo, it's a whole other story. But it will be interesting to see not just Jim Harbaugh. John Gruden's a potential candidate. There's a lot of candidates out there. It's a great job. You said it yourself, and it's true that it's a very enviable job. Any head coach would want to come to LA in this market and be the head coach of this franchise. That one thing that they've shown, Kroenke and this organization, is they'll have patience. They'll let you take your time, and you could lose and lose and lose, and you won't get you in the door. So that's exciting if you're a coach. You could lose that long and still have your job. So
I don't know if that's going to play now that they're here, but I think that you do have some room to make some things happen. You know what I mean? You're open to that. It's really, really going to be new and fresh, and you still have at least another year, another season or two before you'll be moving on to Inglewood. So it'll be interesting to watch.
all right, we'll move on. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 16, Saints 11. Bucks, they're looking okay. They're not bad. I completely expect them to lose a game they shouldn't lose. They're just that type of team. But right now they're sitting in the last wild card spot.
Well, so you think they're
tied? They're tied with Atlanta.
I mean, they've won 5 straight. They're tied with Atlanta exactly. Yeah. And next Sunday night's gonna be interesting.
That's gonna be a fun game.
Who do they play next Sunday?
That Dallas Cowboys, who just lost 10-7 to the New York Football Giants. And I gotta admit, as a Giant fan, I did not think that was gonna happen.
What, that Dallas was gonna
completely
choke?
Fall apart? Yeah.
Because you guys talked about choking, because
it wasn't choking.
That was choking.
How was that choking?
You think it was?
New York was awful. The Giants' defense was good, but Eli tried to give that game away. The Giants made one play the entire game.
But that's how isn't that what you guys always say? That's how Eli's game goes. It's either, win big, lose
he has
big,
a really high ceiling
spotty.
and a really low ceiling.
He wasn't good in this game. He
was
made
terrible.
one good pass to Odell, and how is Dallas not prepared for that? Dallas was awful in this game, and it's a continuation with what I've seen from them with the Minnesota game. The one time they scored in last night's game was the fake handoff to Ezekiel. I mean, that's the play action, which works. It's all Elliott. And this whole Dak thing is smoke and mirrors. And I am confident that the more you watch it, it's clear they need to put Romo in.
So you think Dallas has been exposed and
a
it's
little
Romo
bit.
time?
I think that they've been exposed a little bit, and I think that before it was more of like a joke, like would we see Tony? I think at this point I'm confident in saying that it's just a matter of time till we see Tony. And I think that when they lose to Tampa, that I think which I don't know if they're going to lose to Tampa. It's going to be a good game actually. Yeah. I'm excited for that. It's going to be a good game. That's a good matchup for Dallas, but I do think we're going to see Tony, because I think we're starting to see the cracks in Dak.
I think that's a complete overreaction. Dak has led the Cowboys to an 11-2 start.
I agree.
He had one bad game.
He's actually had two.
Okay, 2 bad games, but he's had a phenomenal rookie year. He's had the best
phenomenal rookie
year for a rookie quarterback ever.
Yeah.
There's a noticeable difference with Dak Prescott under center in that offense. They're a lot more calm. They're a lot more together. A lot of it has to do with the offensive line. I'm not going to say it doesn't. A lot of it has to do with Ezekiel and his ability.
The noticeable difference, though, isn't with Tony Romo. I mean, it's just that Dallas looks really good this year, but that's because they have a good defense. Dez has been rendered useless
because he and Dak don't seem to connect.
No, but the reason for that, you're right, and that's because Dak doesn't take any chances, and that's okay. Like, Dak is a good quarterback. He's young. I like Dak. Yeah. But he doesn't give them the upside they need to win the title.
I get that.
That's the thing. It's not that I think that you should put Tony in because, Dak can't do that. But Tony gives them that offensive firepower, which we saw lacking last night. We saw against Minnesota. Yeah. And I think that's why I was talking about Seattle as a good defense. The good defenses that conservative game plan doesn't work in the playoffs. They need Tony because of the upside. Yes. Is he more risky? Does he make some more plays that are like, whoa? But he's going to take those shots to Dez. He's going to get you more points, and that's what they're going to need. Otherwise, they are not going to beat the Giants the next time. They're not going to beat the Packers. I mean, that's the thing about it. That's why I think they need to play Tony. That's why.
Okay. I respect
We'll
that.
see. I mean, I get it. It's an overreaction in the sense that games. Dak has been great. Don't get me wrong for his rookie season, but they need that upside, and we're starting to see them lack that when they play the good teams. We'll see.
Okay. Before we get into predictions, any final thoughts on Week 14 that was in the NFL?
Yeah, because you didn't talk about my team.
I didn't see the game.
Yo, you didn't think we played this week?
No, I skipped over it.
You did skip over it.
Hold on.
Miami, victors.
Oh, that was okay.
Yeah.
26-23.
That's right.
Over the car.
Was
Tannehill.
that a last-second win?
Tannehill.
It was.
How do you feel about Matt Moore taking over us for Tannehill?
Let's go, Matt Moore.
You
So you don't
vouched for
even
him.
care?
Matt Moore is Here's a fun stat. Matt Moore is the only backup. Well, I guess Tony Romo is, but it doesn't count. But Matt Moore is a career backup, but he's got a winning record. He's a gunslinger. I don't mind Matt Moore. I'm excited for him. Although the news today was that Ryan Tannehill is not. He did not tear his ACL. He sprained it.
Okay.
So I don't know. If he's coming back or not. They're not sure. But I think that first off, Miami plays at the Jets this Saturday night, and then they play Buffalo. 2 very winnable games. 8-5, right there in that 6th spot.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I don't even think Matt Moore's that much of a downgrade.
I don't know that he's a downgrade, to be honest. He may be
Just
neutral or upgrade. He's got that high upside, high downside in each game.
Yeah, so I don't think the Dolphins are going to miss a beat with him.
No.
Oh, and Siri, has a problem with what you said. I don't know how.
All right, guys. So predictions for next is next week the last Monday night football game. All right. So
is.
predictions for next Monday night, last game of the season. We have the Carolina Panthers visiting Washington D.C. and taking on the Redskins. Who do you guys got?
Womp.
We got
This
Josh,
is important.
We got
We
Josh
have the
Norman
Redskins.
and Josh Norman.
Yes.
We have the Redskins.
You have the Redskins?
Yeah.
You got.
Have you seen Carolina this season? Have you seen what Cam has been wearing this season? Like it's
Josh
done. It's
Norman
wrapped.
effect. This is going to be interesting to see how that goes. If there's any fighting, I think that's going to be the most exciting part to see if there's battles between Cam and Josh. And
Why? Are they not friends? Do we not think they're friends? Do we not think that Cam doesn't recognize that there's a little something missing without Josh Norman there? I think it just is what it is. It's just
who are you
it's a
taking,
wrap.
Josh?
Washington.
You're taking Washington.
You
I'm
taking
Carolina?
Why?
Oh.
I don't know. Let's be different.
Yeah. Okay.
Every time I try to be different or go for the underdog, I just get embarrassed.
It's in Carolina, right?
No, it's in Washington.
I'm taking Washington.
Yeah. See, maybe Cam will wear another scarf and a top hat. So we'll see.
All right, well, that pretty much does it for the after show of Monday Night Football. The New England Patriots defeat the Baltimore Ravens 30-23. Next week is our last week. I will not be here, so I want to thank you guys for listening and watching all season. You guys can find me on Twitter and on Instagram. I am Josh Rodriguez at Josh_Rodriguez_Jill.
I'm Jill Munroe. We're going to miss Josh. So you guys make sure to hit Josh up with all your thoughts on Twitter. You can find me at Stiletto Jill everywhere and JocksonStilettoJill.com for sports and pop culture gossip.
And my name is Michael Rippe. You can find me on social media at Mike Rips. Let me know what you think about my thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, guys, tune in next week. Go Giants.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.